Welcome to the first ever episode of HKEX Voice. I'm your host, Cameron Dewick, from the Corporate Communications Department. This will be a regular podcast featuring some of our senior executives and decision makers. We'll talk about how our markets are growing and developing, and we'll try to add a little bit of color to the story of Hong Kong's financial markets. Our guest on this first show is Wilfred Yiu, HKEX's head of markets. We've invited Wilfred to the podcast to discuss the growth of Hong Kong's derivative markets. Welcome to our podcast, Wilfred.
Thank you, Cameron. It's good to be here.
Great. So let's talk about Asia's derivative markets. It's been a booming market in the last year or so, and what's been happening? Why is it growing so fast?
Well, I think it is tremendous amount of momentum behind it. Apparently on the back of a very vibrant economy driven by a lot of the reforms that's coming out from China, and also Hong Kong being that center of international financial center for a lot of these flows to come into interaction. I think that forms a very good backdrop, as you have witnessed probably through the cash market activities to begin with. And that quickly spread out in terms of the need for risk management tools and the demand for hedging and trading and risk management, right, in Asia.
So in Asia, there are numerous derivative markets that investors could choose from. Why should they consider coming to Hong Kong?
Yeah, really good question. The reality is all traders and any financial institutions, they're looking for efficiency. And Hong Kong has a very vibrant and very liquid cash market to begin with. That form a very good basis in terms of the fostering the growth potential in derivative and the demand from it. Hong Kong is actually also very unique. We have a very unique ecosystem across from cash products all the way to listed derivatives as well as structured product markets. If you look at any of those silos itself, it's sort of tangled together and growing together. Let's just take structured product as an example, right? We have seen significant amount of growth in this year so far, comparing to last year. The volumes that we are seeing turnover up like 40% plus on a year-on-year basis. So that tells you a lot of the fundamental demands that is driving the traders who are using Hong Kong to access liquidity and actually risk manage.
Okay. Now, about 3 years ago, actually almost exactly 3 years ago, in 2018, HKEX introduced some new listing rules. And that opened the market up to biotech companies and new economy companies. And there's been a huge surge in listings from these, in IPOs from these sectors. At the same time, trading volume in single stock options has surged by about 60% this year. What's the connection between those two things?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Hong Kong as an international financial center is once again playing that key important role as serving a lot of these new issuers coming in to tap liquidity. We see a significant amount of increase, and I call it a structural increase of turnovers that lead to the fundamental drivers for flows. As that is more established, as you can imagine, anybody who have positions on a lot of these new economies stocks, or even traditional stocks, right? They have to look into better way of risk manage them. And for some other traders, they will look into this market as the very ideal opportunity to provide liquidity and at the same time trading different relative value strategy in Hong Kong in one execution platform, right? And that is where the efficiency comes around when you have a vibrant cash market that's helping you to fuel and form the fundamental basis for a lot of these derivative activities. And I think that is the unique positioning that we have. And when a lot of these new stocks coming into the market, we're seeing a surge in terms of, for example, the structured product issuance, volumes, turnover, and similarly, equally in the listed options and listed future side as well.
So success begets success. The liquidity attracts more liquidity.
Yes, and increasingly we are also seeing a more substantial participation for North Asia participants, in particular mainland Chinese. As we all know, as China is on this major way of reform, we are seeing incremental flows and very meaningful flow from mainland as well in participation of our market. And I think that is something very unique for HKEX.
Interesting. Now, the new HSTech suite is proving to be a very popular product. What's driving that interest?
Yeah, I think this is what I would call almost like a third flagship from the Hang Seng flagship products, right? Obviously, we have very successful HSI product. We have very successful HSCI product. And the HSTech, I think, is very uniquely positioned right in the center of new economy itself, right? A lot of exciting mainland China in particular, right? Opportunities in the new economy side. And a lot of people are looking for ways to access that exposure. So I think the launch of HSTech itself is fundamentally starting to drive that new economy play, comparing trading against other HSI product, HSCEI product. So if you think about as a trader, you're coming into a market, you look at the different sector and the rotation thematics. Hong Kong has that ecosystem to allow you to express that view in one execution platform again, right? And that is, I think, what is the attractiveness of that index itself and what it adds on into our ecosystem.
Okay. Now, last year in 2020, we introduced the MSCI product suite, and that was a huge milestone for HKEX. What's been happening since then? What have the developments been?
Yeah, really good question. We have seen a very healthy and systematic growth into that product suite itself. And I think what is important to think about here is, again, coming back to how we are linking the already very vibrant single stock market, already very vibrant Hang Seng contracts, and then alongside with the interplay with the MSCI product suite itself. And what you will find is the longer-term success materializing in this entire product suite, because our aspiration is to be the Asia time zone global exchange, right? So you think about the ability that you will be able to express a lot of those trading execution in our market, simultaneously accessing over 40 different kind of underliers all in one go, right? I think that is a tremendous in value and how it adds on to the chemical reaction of our trading products. On top, as China is opening more and they need to also access the global market more, and I think the product suite itself is going to add on a lot more product development opportunities for a lot of ETF issuers or even fund managers, and alongside with other product development opportunities, may it be on exchange or off exchange and for the financial markets in Hong Kong. So I think that is really a good addition and complement in every single way in the business of HKEX.
So it's a bit of a building block, and there's more to come.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot more to come.
Well, then I have to ask you, I know a lot of people want to know regarding HKEX and MSCI, what's the progress of launching MSCI China A index futures?
Yeah, I want to say that obviously I don't have much extra information that I can offer at this point, but I think our ambition and opportunities in this area is still there, and it is still a very compelling argument. I think as the China market develops, and we have witnessed in terms of growth in Connect or QV access into domestic China, and now in the new thematics around the double circulations, what you are going to be seeing is actually going to be more interaction, no matter it is global capital into China or domestic capital coming out from China. So on the back of that, you would definitely see that we have a key role to play there, and how to facilitate global investor to plan for their long-term, deeper investment into China. And the risk management tool is helping a lot of these global asset managers to manage better risk. So we are all hoping for a lot of more regulatory dialogues to ensure that we are getting it in the right time.
Are there any new MSCI products that are in the pipeline related to that MSCI suite that we've introduced?
Certainly. There are significant market interests to expand further the MSCI product suite to the structured product space, for instance, to serve more relevant clients and investors.
Excellent. What are the next steps to bring Hong Kong's derivatives market to the next level?
There are many things that we are working on at the moment. I think mostly focusing on our microstructure area and also the way that we can enhance the risk management areas to allow a bigger room effectively for all these transactions to occur. So for instance, around microstructure area, we are very focused on holiday trading. We are focusing on other microstructure enhancements. When we are growing, it's very important that we have to ensure that we provide the right level of resiliency in the market, and specifically volatility control mechanism and pre-opening session pricing mechanism. We are planning to be implementing very soon. In fact, April 12th is the date. So I think those initiatives are likely going to be going hand in hand to ensure that we are providing a bigger room for everybody.
Well, the growth in the derivatives trading is certainly good for HKEX and for our markets and our market participants. What does it mean for Hong Kong Inc., for the broader international financial center of Hong Kong?
I think this is a very exciting news, right? When we think about the growth and the opportunities that we're seeing today, I think it's unprecedented. And I think this is very much in line with Hong Kong government's goal to make Hong Kong the financial hub for GBA and build up an international risk management center. So I think we are very much in line with that. We are part of the many pieces to make sure that we achieve that common objective.
Thank you. Wilfred, thanks so much for joining us for the first episode of HKEX Voice. It's been a great pleasure to hear your insights into the derivatives market.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you. That was Wilfred Yiu, Head of Markets at HKEX. For all of our new listeners, if you want to learn more about HKEX products, please visit our website at hkex.com.hk. From all of us at HKEX Voice, thank you for listening and keep an ear out for our next episode.